Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? If you are a Philadelphia sports fan and you don't see what WIP is doing this week, well, then shame on you. You must live under a rock. Technically, from a business standpoint, it's flat out genius. They are going with a great debate week where they come up with these controversial topics that make people very frustrated and that get the passionate fans calling in left and right to defend their point. And I thought that there were some very good topics throughout these 5 days, and I want to hit on a couple of them. And in today's episode, we will talk about Sam Hinkie. Was Sam Hinkie a good general manager? And the answer is very simple. Yes. Yes, he was. You do not want to be stuck in the middle of the road in the NBA. We see it every year. That 8th seed, 7th seed, they get destroyed by the 1 and 2 seed. And don't give me that the Sixers beat the Bulls the one year. Yeah, when Derrick Rose went out, that's such a flawed win. If you want to go with that mindset for the rest of eternity, you will lose 99.9% of the time. So that's not a recipe for success. What Sam Hinkie did, acquired a bunch of assets, lost on purpose, got high draft picks. He beat the system. He beat the system. It was so good that the NBA had to step in, get rid of him, and put the Sixers in a position with a new general manager. It was so good that they had to change the rules with the lottery and how teams essentially get those high picks in the draft. That's how successful this method really was. It's not about, well, why isn't Sam Hinkie in a spot now? Why didn't Sam Hinkie get offered a job elsewhere? Well, the league stepped in and essentially kicked his ass out. And his system no longer works because they changed the rules. I'm sure that there's a way to maybe get around it once again, but it's definitely more difficult. What Sam Hinkie did was genius. And it helped this team. They are where they are now because of Sam Hinkie, and I get it. It was a frustrating year, okay? It wasn't the most entertaining season. But if you see their roster back when he was hired, and then you see where they are now, it's laughable. It's laughable. It's laughable to go back and look at what Sam Hinkie had when he got here. And all the pieces now, why are they here? Because of the moves he made. Because of what he did. The reason they could go out and get Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, all these assets, whether it worked or it didn't work, that's out of Sam Hinkie's control. What I know Sam Hinkie did was get all of these pieces in the Sixers organization. And he gave them the opportunity to go out and make something happen. Now, if they didn't make it happen properly, shame on the people in place now. But there's only so much you can do. Now, this episode of Sports Talk with Broads is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power. They set the standard for clean energy. Whether you are looking to add solar to your home or company, Orbit Energy and Power works directly with you to ensure that you are getting the best deal. That's not all. Orbit can also provide water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, and more. So visit them online at orbitenergy.us or give them a call at 800-836-3987. If I gave you a baseball bat, a baseball glove, and a baseball, and I said, go practice on your baseball, and what do? You put them out back, you throw them on the ground, and then you go inside and play Xbox. Next baseball season comes around, and you're not good. Whose fault is that? Is that my fault? For giving you what you need to do to work on your craft and then you don't do it? Or is that the person's fault for having the assets to be a good baseball player but deciding, I'm not going to do it? Shame on you for not choosing the right way to handle the situation. That is essentially what went down when Colangelo came in and that whole mess occurred. Now, let's look at this roster. You ready for this roster? Kwame Brown, Spencer Hawes, Drew Holiday, Justin Holiday, Royal Ivy. This is hilarious to look at. Jason Richardson, Evan Turner, Nick Young, Thaddeus Young. Okay, Thad Young turned into a nice role player for the Pacers. Woohoo. That's your roster. Shelvin Mack, Charles Jenkins, Malik Waynes. Oh, Damian Wilkins, Darrell Wright. Hilarious. Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, Josh Richardson, Al Horford. It's not even close. Are they a frustrating team right now? Sure. But the little things involved. Remember when Andrew Bynum happened? Remember that trade? That sure sucked. Let's dive a little deeper and see what Sam Hinkie did to help this franchise down the road. So in 2013, they got rid of Drew Holiday. They end up getting a pick with the Pelicans. They get Nerlens Noel. Did Nerlens Noel work out? No. 6th overall pick. Okay, it wasn't as if it was the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and they completely botched this thing. 6th overall pick. And at the time, he was coming out of college, and everybody thought this dude was going to be legit, the number 1 overall pick. But then an injury happened. So you take a shot on the possible number 1 pick who slipped due to injury. I mean, you can argue that that's what happened with Joel Embiid later down on the road, and it ended up working. So they went with that philosophy. Did Nerlens Noel turn out to be what we expected? Absolutely not. But I'm not going to crush someone who took a chance on Nerlens Noel after the years that he had in college, the year that he had in college. I'm not going to knock him or knock the Sixers front office for taking that shot at 6. It didn't work out. But 2014, here's where it really happened. Now, Embiid fell to 3. They take him. Elfrid Payton at 10. The Sixers eventually trade Payton to Orlando. They acquire Dario Saric and some assets. Oh, what's that? What was one of those assets? A first-round pick back. Now, that first-round pick they lost with Andrew Bynum. So those are the little moves that Sam Hinkie did. Now, that is huge. That is a first-round pick, and I believe that was the 27th first-round pick that they now got back. And that sets all of this up. Those moves that he made throughout his tenure, it set the Sixers up for what they are now. I mean, that is a big move. 2015, Okafor. 2016, Ben Simmons. See, I don't knock the front office when you do things like this. You have the 3rd pick, another team, 2 teams in front of you, they select who they select, and then you just receive whoever falls to you at that point. Because let's be real, in the draft, there's always, that guy's the next LeBron, or that guy's the next KD, right? Whatever. So the first team who picks gets that person. Then there's one other guy probably, and there's some noise surrounding him, but he's not as good as the 1st overall pick. All right, they snag him. So when you're drafting 3rd, you just get whoever falls to you. At that point, you're getting whatever big college star falls to you. So when Okafor falls to them at 15, all right. I mean, there's only so much you can do. You just take who falls to you at that point. And luckily, that worked out in 2014 when they received Joel Embiid. So I don't knock franchises when they pick 3rd. And going into the draft, there's always 2, 3 names, right? It's not like there's 10 names to choose from. There's always the top of the list where there's 1, 2, and then possibly 3 guys every year that's talked about that highly. You just pick that player at that point. Hindsight's easy, though, to go back and rip them. But Okafor, coming out of Duke, fine. Logically, I saw no problem with that draft pick. When Colangelo had to step in, it was a dumpster fire. It was a nightmare. This is what I love, though. Where was this? In 2015, the Sixers get the right to swap the 2017 and 2019 first-round picks with the Kings. That's interesting, right? That's more assets. That's definitely more assets that Sam Hinkie acquired. In Colangelo's case, he utilized those. Now, Markelle Fultz was a result of utilizing that. Swapping with the Celtics also occurred. And he picked Markelle Fultz. Let's go back to the baseball analogy. Sam Hinkie gave Colangelo the baseball bat, the baseball glove, and the baseball itself. It's then on Colangelo, or whoever else is in place, to execute it. That did not happen. Colangelo went inside to play video games. He did not go in the backyard and start swinging. He did not have one of those nets, what is it called, a pitch back maybe, where he was throwing the baseball back and having a catch. He did not work on the craft. He just went, all right, and he ruined it. Not Sam Hinkie's fault. It's a no-brainer that Sam Hinkie did a great job. And when you look at the NBA, you cannot get stuck. You can't get stuck. The only way to get better through the draft is being horrendous. Losing on purpose is fine, because look at the outcome. I can't even understand how people think that this method is flawed. You don't go out there and lose on purpose. That's not the beauty of sports. Fine. Then go watch a 30-win basketball team, a 32-win basketball team every year. The only way to get better in the NBA is that. Unless you get extremely lucky. Listen, there are other ways, but here's the problem. The recipe for success, the percentage is so tiny. So you would have to get lucky, find the Greek freak at, 15, 16 overall, blossom into a superstar, and then maybe go out and get a free agent. Yeah, all right, you want to go with that method? You'll be stuck at 32 wins way longer than losing for 3 seasons, losing for 4 years. It's so stretched out how long of a stretch it really was. They lost on purpose for a couple seasons. When Joel Embiid got rolling, 28 wins. From there, bang, 50, going to the playoffs consistently. It's a joke. Like right now, we are extremely pissed off because of expectations. They're going to rack another 50-win season. They're in the 6th seed at the moment. Okay. But they're not far off from 3. From 3 to 6, I mean, they're right there in that ballpark when you look at the records. The people who didn't like the process, how do you see what is going on now with the roster and be devastated about it? I would like to show you the alternative. Would you like to have more of these picks? Would you like to have more of these players? I mean, I laid them out for you. Spencer Hawes, Justin Holiday, Shelvin Mack. Drew Holiday's a nice player. Look at the Pelicans, though. And I'm not saying that if Drew Holiday was on this team, it wouldn't help them. And then he would be in the 8th seed again. No, if Drew Holiday was on this roster, he would not be in the 8th seed again. I understand that. But do you know why he wouldn't be on the 8th seed? Oh, that's right. Because the Sixers tanked, got high draft picks, and then got Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. That's why. That's why. You need to acknowledge that Adam Silver had to change the platform, had to get rid of certain aspects of the NBA because of how effective this was. Look how hard this is to do. The Knicks have been doing it for years. There's plenty of teams that are trying this method and it doesn't work. You should be proud. You should be honored that it took so tiny amount of time. Like, if you think about this, it took a really small amount of time to get this game plan through. There are teams still trying to find a way to do it. And there have been teams that were trying to do it before the Sixers even got it done. If I told you, take away the name process, take that away. If I said to you, the Sixers would stink for 3 seasons. Not lose on purpose, not put out bad products, not trade for a bunch of assets. Take away that entire philosophy. And it's a broad picture. And it says right here, The Sixers will be bad for 3 to 4 years. That's all you need to know. They will be bad. It doesn't matter how. It doesn't matter who is competing. It doesn't matter who the GM is or who the coach is. The Sixers will be bad for 3 to 4 seasons. But after that, somehow, some way, they will have 50-plus win seasons for a window of 7-8 years. And I'm just spitballing, but 7 to 8 years, 50-plus wins, playoff runs, Eastern Conference Finals, second round, maybe an NBA Finals run in there. But that is what you will receive. I guarantee you that everyone who despises the process will get on board with that. So does it matter how they got there? Or is it just about getting there? Because to me, I don't care how it's done. Lose on purpose, don't lose on purpose. Get superstars. That's all that matters to me. Find them. From there, once you get those pieces, now it's time to turn the page and win. And that's where the Sixers are at now. Now it's time to, all right, let's get these 23 and 26-year-old pieces that we have. Let's get them going. Let's get them rolling. But I guarantee it, if you take away the context of how it actually occurred, well, now the mindset changes. Now I support it. Why? What's the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is to be extremely competitive. Like, obviously, winning the championship and winning the NBA title is what the prize is and what everybody strives to do. But when you look at an organization, you can't win a championship every single year. It's impossible. I promise you, it's impossible. So what do you have to do? As a franchise, it's about building a roster that can compete, that can be in the mix with the other championship contenders. From there, okay, let's see how it plays out. But your goal is to build a team that can be competitive. They weren't able to do that with where they were at back in that 2012, 2013. So you get rid of the dudes, you stink, you throw out the TJ McConnells of the world, and then you get your pieces. You get your stars. You win in this league by, hold on, I'll tell you for free. It's not head coaching, by the way. It's superstars. You win in this league with superstars. And the fact that the Sixers were able to land 2 potential superstars by losing on purpose for a handful of seasons, guess what? No brainer. All in. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Guess what? If this thing plays out for 7-8 years, whatever happens, happens. Embiid gets banged up. He's getting older. He can't hang. Something happens with Ben Simmons. He just gets a little bit older. He plays a lot of minutes. He's not at the same level he once was at 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. He hits the later of 30s. Okay, let's move on. Whatever. Doing it again in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even think twice. I wouldn't even blink. Bros, would you go through the process again? Hell yes. People forget what it was like during that time. You weren't winning. You were still losing. Because it was watchable, it makes it different. So if it's watchable losing, it's okay. But if it's unwatchable losing, it's pathetic. You're losing. You are losing no matter what. That's the big takeaway. Is it what sports is all about? No, I get that. It is a loophole. But if the loophole results in winning a championship, or at least being in the position to compete for one, sign me up. You think Tom Brady thinks about his loopholes? Because he's got plenty of them, right? Deflategate, Spygate, you name it. You think the Patriots are worried about their loopholes, if you will? Nope, because they have the hardware. And that's what it's all about. And the Sixers now are in a way better position to actually win hardware than they ever were. So it does frustrate me, and it bothers me that people think that this was some huge scam. Hell no. It worked. Look at where they are now. The thing is, people are just frustrated because the expectations were so high that it changes their view on it. Now, real quick, let's hear a word from my sponsor, Ravens Brew Coffee. It's the best coffee in the world. You know me, I'm addicted. I literally had 4 cups this morning. Now, this is empty, but that's because I've been crushing it, and it's fantastic. And there's so many unique blends and a lot of variety, different caffeine levels depending on the type of what type of day it is, what time of the day it is, or what type of day. Hey, maybe you prefer a different caffeine level based off of if it's raining or sunny. I don't know. But there's so many different variations of coffee on Ravens Brew Coffee. You have to check it out. The link is in the description. The moment it touched my lips, I knew. And that's how it works for me when it comes to coffee. I know the second it touches my lips, or yo. And that was my reaction with Ravens Brew. There's a couple other things that Sam Hinkie did. He found Robert Covington. Now, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Robert Covington, right? But can he play in the league? Yeah, he can play in the league. I don't like him as my starting 3. I don't really like him on the Sixers, but he found him. He was an undrafted guy. He played a little bit for Houston, and look what happened. TJ McConnell, yeah, I made fun of him because of the TJ McConnells of the world. You're not going to win championships when he's playing as many minutes as he did back during the process. But look, he turned himself into a nice little player. I mean, Sam Hinkie found some dudes. Put some players out there, and some of them stuck. How about it? Give them some props. Oh, whew. This conversation fires me up. Because there's this narrative that you have to be with the proper mindset of competing. Would Michael Jordan love the process? No, he wouldn't like the process. Would he like winning championships, though? Yes. And what did Michael Jordan say? This is interesting. What did he say? Win at all costs. So MJ believes in winning at all costs. Whether that means not allowing his teammate to eat food after a bad game, whether that's being a bad teammate at times, because what was his mindset? Well, hold on. If it results in winning, it's fair. Do I need to say much more? What did that go hand in hand with what happened here? Is it being a little bit of an asshole? Kind of like what MJ was? Sure. I would somehow compare this style of GMing, if you will, to being an asshole. Yeah. MJ sure was one. But people love that. Why? Because that was by the letter of the rule, technically. He was being a competitor, so being a non-competitor, if it results in winning, is different. Sam Hinkie built a team. Or, let's go here. Sam Hinkie put an organization in a position with a ton of assets to be something. That is his job. To put the pieces in the right spots. When he leaves, there's only so much you can say about him other than he put the pieces there. All the puzzle pieces are on the table. Someone else has to come in and put them in the right spots at this point because the NBA stepped in. Not his fault. When I look at Sam Hinkie, I will say this, though. Does that mean I automatically assume that he would be able to just be an electric GM and make every single right move? No. But that's why acquiring all these pieces was so important. If you miss here, that's fine. I got 3 other here. If we don't do right this time, fine. We got 3 other options down the road. Like, that was the point. Because you know you're not going to hit on every single pick. I like his philosophy. I'll say this. For other people that are screaming at me saying, bro, you're an absolute moron. 1, congratulations on making it this far, even though you think I'm a moron. But 2, I think his philosophy was great. I don't know if he would have been able to be the one to eventually finish the job. I don't know. Because I don't have a chance to see him do that. Sure, he could have messed things up. Like, would he continue to try and acquire so many assets that there would never be a time where it's, let's figure it out and turn the page? We don't know, because we've only seen the process, Sam Hinkie. He was only there for a handful of seasons before, here we go, get him out. This is working. Let's stop it. This is working. Let's stop it. I am okay with him being hired, doing his thing, and then when the Sixers are ready to move on, the Sixers, with their own choice, saying, all right, Sam, thank you so much. We're going to rock with an experienced GM. I would have been okay with that. The point about it is, though, the philosophy. the way they approached this. Do we need to repeat that 2013 roster here, 2012, 2013 roster? Disgraceful. And look at what it is now. Let's repeat. Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, Jimmy Butler, Josh Richardson. The roster is phenomenal, talent-wise. Now, is it working out? No. But that's not the debate. The debate is Sam Hinkie a good GM? Did he put this team in a position? Yes, he put the team in a position. Now it's on them to figure it out. The Trust the Process documentary should be fantastic. I hope there is one. There should be one. 10 parts? You think 10 parts is going to do this justice? Let's try 30 parts. There is so much involved in this entire story, and we did a breakdown on 97.3 ESPN this week. It was the top 5 documentaries that you would like to see after watching The Last Dance, and Trust the Process was at the top of my list. I believe it was third. 3 was this. I had LeBron James at 2 because I think he deserves a shot to be able to counter the MJ documentary. Then number 1 for me, I flat out love her. She's one of my favorite athletes ever, and it's Serena Williams. She is going to be, I hope, the winningest women's tennis singles Grand Slam winner. Hopefully. But I want to see her entire life. But anyway, I digress. That's not what it's about right now. To think about all of this, he changed the NBA. He changed the structure of how this works. You watch all these teams during the lottery now, and the percentage, and how they changed the bottom half, and how the percentage is now smaller than it once was when you come in last place. They are forcing teams to have to try and win. They are forcing teams to put product on the floor that makes at least a little bit of sense. You can still go with this philosophy, but the percentage now to hit is way smaller. Now, from an NBA standpoint, are they doing the right thing by doing that? Yeah, from their viewpoint, sure. I don't really care about their viewpoint, though. I care about the 76ers viewpoint and what they accomplished and how they did it. And I am all for it. I am co-signing for it. Every single time the Sixers need a little bit of rebuild, I ain't sticking in that 8th seed. I don't feel like getting destroyed by LeBron James in 4 games where it's not even competitive. You get stuck, and you get forced to be the 8th seed, the 7th seed, the 9th seed. They ain't got a chance. They don't have a damn chance. And then you get your 15th pick, and you get your 16th pick. Why? Why put yourself through that crap? I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this. Please leave a comment down below. If you're listening to this on a podcasting app, you can leave a review as a comment. I love reading those as well, so make sure you do that. One last time, this episode of Sports Talk with Broads is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power, and they set the standard for clean energy. So if you are looking to add solar to your home or your company, Orbit works with you to ensure that you are getting the best deal. They also provide water purification systems, backup energy services, and more. Visit them online at orbitenergy.us. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you next time.